Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Waves Weekly, series I post every weekend where we cover recent news and current events that I believe will impact the markets. These episodes are meant to be more chill, so sit back, grab yourself a drink. Right now, I'm personally drinking a Runa pineapple pick-me-up. I believe this is pronounced guayusa tea. So yerba mate last week, I drink yerba mate all the time. This guayusa tea is equally as tasty, if not even tastier, as an actual tea than yerba mate. 10 calories, clean energy. Go check it out if you guys are in the market for some solid tea. Cheers to that, and let's get into it. All right. You guys know the deal. We'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, then we'll dive into each one individually. First things first, huge news. House Democrats prepared a new $2.4 trillion stimulus plan with unemployment aid and direct payments. If you guys have been watching my videos for the past week or so, you know that this stimulus package specifically checks are, in my mind at least, the single most important catalyst in terms of more upside in not only equity markets, but gold, silver, Bitcoin, literally every asset class across the board aside from the dollar. So we will talk about this, very important. Kick the video off there. Sticking in money printing. Fed shot its own elephant gun before Buffett got the chance. So this is actually a very short article, more of a podcast recommendation for you guys, but this just talks about how kind of the Fed beat not only Buffett, but a lot of money managers, a lot of big money, a lot of the whales who thought the market was going to tank further after the March collapse. The Fed really beat a lot of this big money to the punch when it came to the relief rally. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Very interesting there. Moving on, a little more lighthearted. This was funny news. I'm sure some of you guys have seen this at this point, but this is a weird progression over the course of the week. Amazon's stop sale of Prime Bike distances itself from fitness company Echelon. So if you guys didn't hear about this, pretty much this company Echelon announced that they were releasing a Prime Bike. Huge news. Peloton disruptor. Peloton tanked. Amazon obviously just stayed solid, but I mean, this is such an interesting story. I just want to share this with you guys. And then moving completely kind of out of the markets, but I just wanted to share this with you guys. We're moving into some more lighthearted, just kind of general news, but it's stuff that I thought was important to share. I want to talk to you guys about. So we'll talk about these are America's happiest and least happy states for 2020. So there's a list in here. Give you guys a hint. My home. My place that I'm blessed to call home, number one. So I want to talk about this, but there is also a list of top 10 happiest, top 10 least happy, and I feel like this will be a good thing that we can all talk about in the comments down below after, okay? So I'll cover this, finish it off in terms of news. Again, another lighthearted Japanese doctor who lived to 105. His Spartan diet, views on retirement, and other rare longevity tips. So I did just go down here. We're not going to read through this whole thing, but there's a few key points that this guy wrote in here that this guy beliefs that this guy had that I really want to share with you guys that align with myself as well and the way I think. So I think this is just important to understand this stuff, similar to the health is wealth video I released not too long ago. It's important to prioritize yourself, you guys, especially with such a psychologically taxing game like investing, like trading, especially when times get tough, like they have the past week or so. So it's very important to prioritize yourself. Always focus on yourself. Put your health first, because money's great, but money doesn't mean anything if you don't have a solid mind. Okay, so we'll talk about this. This is fun. I'm excited to talk to you guys about both these things right here, and then of course we will close it out with some content. Wall Street money never sleeps. I'll talk about this at the end. Many of you may be thinking this came out in 2010. This is not new at all, but I just recently watched it for the first time, surprisingly, and I liked it a lot. 55% rotten. I humbly disagree, although I do always check out the Rotten Tomato scores. I definitely like this more than 55%. I'd give it at least a 7 out of 10. Also, I want to start rating these, so I forgot to do that. I would give this a solid 7 out of 10 as well. If it had more sugar, it'd probably be better, but 7 out of 10. Okay, anyway, one more piece of content at the end though. These are my boys, okay? So I will talk about them more at the end. Group chat news. I would consider these guys mentors. They've been with me through my entire journey. They've taught me a lot over the course of my entrepreneurial and investing journey. So I will talk about those guys at the end. Super low-key YouTube profile. So I think they would really appreciate it if you guys checked it out. One more thing, speaking of low-key YouTube profiles, my lady Madex Lala just finished the waves painting for the channel. I told her last week that you need to have a waves painting ready for Waves Weekly. So she got this done right here, the Hex Waves. I freaking love this thing with her signature rainbow ombre look. I will put it back right here, just to remind you guys to go follow her YouTube channel. So she's big on TikTok. She has like 200,000. I don't even know what are you at right now? 250, 220, 230, 230,000 followers on TikTok. Just started a YouTube page. I'm really trying to get her to pump out that YouTube content. Come to the greatest platform on earth. Join the Waves family. So Waves family, go check out the Rainbow family. Really appreciate it. If you go check her out, she'll appreciate it as well. She's sitting right here. She'll be stoked. She's nodding her head. Okay, so I'll link that down below as well. So again, I appreciate you guys. Let's get into this. One more thing. Please like the video if you go on to gain value from it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to catch more content like this. And of course, check out my complete portfolio. Daily newsletter, first link in the description if you're interested in exactly how I'm navigating this current market environment and want my daily newsletter. That's what I feel is that's what I take the most pride in personally, is the daily newsletter every trading day during market hours, okay? So that aside, let's move on to this. House Democrats prepare new $2.4 trillion stimulus plan with unemployment aid and direct payments. Key points, we'll just go over those right here and I'll let you guys know what I'm thinking. Key points. House Democrats are putting together another coronavirus stimulus plan, which would cost about $2.4 trillion. The chamber could vote on legislation which would include unemployment benefits, direct payments, small business loans, and airline aid as soon as next week. Democrats aim to restart stalled talks with the White House. So this has actually progressed a little bit over on Friday specifically, just before the weekend. I believe Pelosi and Mnuchin, who is the Secretary of Treasury, are talking amongst each other. They do want this to happen, and that's good because Mnuchin is on the right. Obviously, Pelosi is on the left. And the reason that we haven't gotten a stimulus up to this point is because the right and the left in Congress, who make these votes, keep butting heads. The Democrats want more money. The Republicans want less money. At this point, you just got to get it done. People need the money. Like I've been saying over the past week, people, again, a lot of us who are invested in assets are blessed to be on the top side of the K-shaped recovery. I've been doing this a lot. The K-shape. We're lucky to be on this side, but there's a lot of people who are on this side who aren't financially literate, who really, really genuinely need stimulus checks, not just for rent, not just for living expenses, not for leisure especially, but for food, for life, for the ability to literally live and breathe. Okay, so very important there, not just for the market. Obviously, it's good for the market. It's a win-win situation for both parties, on both sides of the recovery. More stimulus means more money injected into the markets, which means prices go up if you're long the markets. And then on the bottom side, they need it. So they need it. We're stoked on it, but they really need it. So let's hope this happens just for the good of humanity right here. And I am confident. It will be very interesting to see going into this trading week if they're able to pull something together. And I'm personally confident. It is optimistic. I'm innately an optimist. I'll let you guys know that. But I am optimistic that we'll see a stimulus. And I really, truly do hope that we see it as well. Moving on, Fed shot its own elephant gun, I like that saying, before Buffett got the chance. Fund manager who counts Berkshire Hathaway's top holdings says Fed may have beaten Buffett to the punch. So again, you guys, this is a podcast. I'll just read this paragraph right here. Warren Buffett has referred to the massive cash pile at his company Berkshire Hathaway Inc. as his elephant gun. I mean, he's always on the prowl for an opportunity to shoot large sums of money at a big acquisition or investment. While he made a few deals this year as the COVID-19 pandemic roiled markets, he hasn't been quite as active as he was during the global financial crisis. Okay, so again, go on to listen to this podcast, you guys. It's a solid listen on Bloomberg, Buffett's Elephant Gun on the What Goes Up podcast. Again, it's just interesting to see, again, on the topic of money printing, on the topic that the U.S., not only the U.S., but every government across the world, so many international governments are printing trillions of dollars in their own fiat currency to fight this virus, which again, makes perfect sense. I think that that's the right move, and the only move to not completely collapse the well-being of humanity right now is to print money, but ultimately that will devalue the dollar. And again, the Fed, now that the Fed owns so many assets, we get into this kind of socialism. We get into a socialist, almost communist kind of argument here. Now that the Fed owns so much percentages of all these companies because they've bought equities, they bought assets, they bought bonds, everything. Okay, so that's very interesting. Anyway, you guys go listen to this. This is a nice, the last two pieces of content recommendation are a little more recreational, a little funner. So just check this one out. This is a good listen. Highly recommend checking this out. Moving on, again, super fun. This is a weird story. So Amazon's stop sale of Prime Bike distances itself from fitness company Echelon top line. Hours after launching a $500 exercise bike billed as a partnership between Amazon and fitness company Echelon, Amazon stopped selling the product and said the bike is not an Amazon product or related to Amazon Prime. Key facts. So this is a alleged bike. According to a press announcement released by Echelon on Thursday, the so-called Prime Bike was developed in collaboration with Amazon and offers Prime members a 30-day free trial for Echelon's connected fitness app. The announcement, which has since been deleted, generated buzz because it described the bike as Amazon's first foray into connected exercise equipment, though some media outlets called it a Peloton knockoff. So again, some media outlets, literally every headline was the Peloton killer. Amazon comes in to like knock off Peloton, and this crushed Peloton stock the day of releasing, obviously because it's a way more affordable bike. Amazon has the most powerful brand in the world, and that would heavily disrupt Peloton if Amazon did come out with this. It's funny, after the news of this being fake was released a day later, Peloton bounced heavily. So, I mean, that's what happens. That's just how storied the markets are right now. And again, just another example of how hype really drives this market. But, I mean, super interesting. It would be interesting to see if Peloton shareholders file a lawsuit against Echelon, because this is super shady practice. They made bank off of it for sure, so good business in that sense, but I mean, they're probably going to get sued up the ass. But hours after the original announcement Tuesday night, Amazon updated the product page by listing the bike as currently unavailable and scrubbed any mention of partnership with Amazon. So yeah, this is like straight up, although they made bank, these guys might run away like bandits. This is very illegal. This is, or I don't know if it's illegal technically. I don't know the fine lines here, but very interesting to see how this progresses. And again, good news for Peloton here. It was funny seeing the stock so volatile around this news. Okay. Moving on, these are America's happiest and least happy states for 2020. All right, so I'll just read this and then we'll go check out the list. And I want to see where you guys live. This is a perfect opportunity to kind of engage with you guys, see where you guys are from, and we can have a see if you're depressed or happy. What does it mean to be happy living in the United States during a pandemic and economic recession? Depending upon which state you live in, your happiness and mental well-being can vary drastically. A new survey from Wallet Hub ranked the 50 states by happiness to see which states are staying happy during these trying times. Hawaii is the happiest state overall for 2020. Shout out the Big Island. According to the survey, Hawaii is consistently ranked the happiest state in the U.S. in 2019. Gallup named Hawaii the top state in its National Health and Wellbeing Index for the 7th year in a row. So again, I mean, it makes sense, you guys. We're a big thing, especially in a pandemic right now that I've been thinking about a lot, is that we're completely isolated. So cities obviously are the hardest hit by the pandemic. Everyone's freaking out. There's kind of just this stress in the air. And Hawaii, like, there's so much freaking space everywhere. The ocean's literally, I could definitely drive a golf ball into the ocean right now from my office. And that's just like such a luxury that we have water. We have the ocean, we have sun. All of these are good for your mental health as well, just like from a physiological perspective. But we have space. Like, we have so much space, and it's easy not, like, in a city, it's easier to freak out whenever, like, you get the hive mind mentality when everyone's freaking out. But here, it's just like, it's kind of, you worry about yourself, but in kind of like in the most not snotty-nosed way, if you guys get that. All right, but let's move on to this list. Let's get to the real stuff. So, top 10 happiest states: 1, Hawaii; 2, Utah; 3, Minnesota; 4, New Jersey; 5, Maryland; 6, California; 7, North Dakota; 8, Iowa; 9, Idaho; and 10, Connecticut. So this is a little interesting here. Utah makes sense. You got all the Mormons. Minnesota's an interesting one. But you guys, let me know if you're from any of these. Talk about if you're happy, if you're not. And then these are the 10 least happy states. If any of you live here, I really hope, I have to imagine at least one of you watching lives in one of these states. So please let me know that you're happy, because that's what I care about. 10 least happy states: 1, West Virginia; 2, Arkansas; 3, Oklahoma; 4, Louisiana; 5, Kentucky; 6, Tennessee; 7, Mississippi; 8, Alabama; 9, Alaska; and 10, Oregon. Alaska and Oregon make sense. Pacific Northwest, it's so freaking dark up there. So actually, West Virginia is the least happy state. First equals last place. Okay. Oh wait, I get first equal. I have to assume this is like the most least happy state. All right. So please, if you guys live in any of these, Oregon, I've had a lot of friends who live in Oregon. I've been to Oregon before. I know a lot of them are happy, but it makes sense just because it's so freaking gloomy out there. Alaska is so far up from the equator that, I mean, half the year it's just dark. So that sucks too. That's a huge contribution. Again, why I'm so blessed and grateful to have sun, like the exact opposite of Alaska. Closer to the equator, the more sun you get. Sun, good. Okay. So please let me know if you guys live in any of these states. I just want to know that you guys are happy. Let me know where you live. Let me know where you're from. This is more just a conversation about, I want to know where you guys are from. I want to talk about what makes you like your state, if you're happy in your state, and whatnot. Okay, so drop a comment down below. Let me know where you're from. If you're not from the States, internationally, it's even cooler to me, to be honest. So please let me know where you're from in the comments down below. Would love to know where the Waves family resides. Last but not least, Japanese doctor who lived to 105, his Spartan diet, views on retirement, and other rare longevity tips. Okay, so Dr. Shigeki Hinohara. I'm half Japanese, so I can say it like that. Dr. Shigeki Hinohara had an extraordinary life for many reasons. For starters, a Japanese physician and longevity expert, lived until the age of 105. One, don't retire, but if you must, do so a lot later than age 65. I 100% agree with this. The average retirement age, at least in the US, has always hovered around 65. And in recent years, many have embraced the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. That's so ridiculous. It depends on what you define as retire, though. But Hinohara viewed things differently. There is no need to ever retire, but if one must, it should be a lot later than 65. So again, this is all about how you define retire. If you're on your own time, if you're fortunate enough to be like a YouTuber or something, if you're a trader, trader's the perfect example. I always say trading is a game. It's a cerebral game. It's a psychological game. As long as your mind is working, if your body's degrading, you can trade for your entire life until you're in the ground, or whatever your preferred means of after death is. But anyway, you can trade for your entire life. As long as your brain's working, as long as this noggin's rolling, then you can trade, which is the beauty of trading. And that's why it's so, if any of you are young, right now, even old, but especially young, just for the example, you're so blessed because you have your entire life ahead of you. You have so much learning ahead of you. And again, the earlier you start, the more you can learn, the more knowledge you can accumulate, the more experience, most importantly, you can accumulate. And over time, by the time you're 65, hopefully you're super rich. And retiring, again, if you're in the coal mines or something, like if you're working a super labor, like physical 9-to-5 job that you really don't like, I think you should definitely retire at age 65 and focus your time on something that you actually love. But again, if you're fortunate, so this is, I'm speaking from a place of privilege. I definitely realize that because I get to sit here and I'm super thankful for being able to have all you guys and whatnot. But again, this took a long time for me. I've had a very long entrepreneurial journey. So it's hard. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur and do your own thing and establish kind of a brand of your own. But I so heavily encourage you guys to do that. Again, whether it's trading, whether it's YouTube, whether it's a podcast, whether it's writing a book, if you like writing, if it's making clothing. I came from clothing. I had a clothing company prior to trading full time. Whatever you love to do, just do it and do it as well as you can. Do it to the best of your ability. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if you like freaking hunting butterflies or something, like collecting cards. Trading cards are huge right now. Trading cards are like having a moment. If you like that, there's always a market for it, and you can develop an audience around whatever passion it is that you have. So I remember, I think in the 4-Hour Workweek, a book I recommended last week, that link's down below as well. Tim Ferriss talks about, and this resonated with me for so long. Have 1,000 true fans. It doesn't matter if you have 100,000 fans that don't really care about you, but 1 million fans. Say that, like 1 million Instagram followers. Like the Instagram models who have 1 million followers can't convert anything. But if you have 1,000 true fans, if you're truly engaged to your fan, and it's a family, and that's how I view a lot of you guys. It's like 1,000 true fans. Obviously, it's not that number. It could be 100, 200, 300, 400, whatever. But it doesn't matter. It's quality over quantity. And no matter what you like, that's kind of how I'm wrapping this around. Again, butterflies, trading cards, whatever it is, literally anything. There's definitely 1,000 people, if you're good enough, of course, that will watch you, that will subscribe to you, that will pay you money if you have a specific service within. If you have butterflies, if you make a butterfly blog, if you if you have trading cards, if you do card openings, I've seen those around YouTube and stuff. So whatever it is that's your passion, go pursue it and do it to the best of your ability. That kind of goes along with this last one. Find a purpose that keeps you busy. I should have read this and then went on that rant. According to Hinohara, not having a full schedule is a surefire way to age faster and die sooner. However, it's important to stay busy, not just for the sake of staying busy, but to be active in activities that help serve a purpose. The logic is that one can be busy yet still feel empty and die on the inside. Hinohara found his purpose early on after his mother's life was saved by the family's doctor. Janet Kawagachi, a journalist who considered Hinohara a mentor, said he believed that life is all about a contribution. So he had this incredible drive to help people, to wake up early in the morning and do something wonderful for other people. This is what driving him and kept him living. Okay, again, you guys, if you've been with me, you guys know I say this all the time. Like, money's cool. I made a lot of money in my trading career. I'm perfectly fine financially, and again, I'm blessed to be in that position. But making this YouTube channel is the most happy I've been in my entire life. Is the most excited I've been to wake up my entire life. Again, waking up to $20,000 in a day. Literally wake up $20,000, made $20,000. Doesn't make me as stoked to wake up if I'm excited about a video that I'm going to record today. If I posted a video that I'm really proud of and I want to see how it's doing, because community matters more than money. And obviously that's something you can only say once you've made enough money to where you're not struggling in any sense. But keep in mind, you guys, money, can be made forever, but just that's why it's so important to focus on your happiness, focus on your health, focus on your loved ones, and don't waste. I get the grind. You should always grind. Make money. You got to get the money established, as I said before, but just do what makes you happy. And that's a big thing here is, again, is when you're able to monetize your passion. Find what you're passionate about, as like in that last rant, be able to monetize it and keep working at it. It's going to take a long time. It's not easy. Again, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 17 years old. So 8 years it's taken me to kind of finally find, I shouldn't say that, the clothing brand was pretty successful. So it took me at least 4 or 5 years of grinding to find some semblance of success. And again, the more you work, the happier I get, the more money you make, and like it's all a cumulative effect. But you just have to start pursuing what you love, because the sooner you start, the earlier you'll get there. Okay, so little motivation there. But again, you guys, I truly do want the best for you guys. So please take this in mind. Go check out this full article if you want. Again, this is the title. You can go check it out if you want. Closing it out, Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps, 2010. Shia LaBeouf was great in this movie. This is a great movie. I just watched this the other night. Again, watched this for the first time. It's always fun, obviously, being involved in this space, watching movies that focus around it. Big Short is a great one, too. If you guys haven't watched Big Short, definitely go watch. I've recommended that before, so I'm not going to recommend it again. But I'm recommending it right now. If you guys haven't watched The Big Short with Steve Carell, Brad Pitt, Christian Bale, go freaking watch that movie. That is a great movie. But this is a fun one, too. Again, 55% rotten is pretty rough. But I give it a solid 7 out of 10, like my buddy Runa right here. So go check that out. I really enjoyed the movie myself. A little cheesy at points, but it's always fun, again, watching. And it gets you, like, it's a good thing to watch at night if you're excited about the trading day the next day, because it makes you feel like a boss. It makes you feel like you put yourself in their shoes on Wall Street. And as a trader who just chills in Hawaii, it's like interesting to put yourself in the shoes of kind of the OGs of the investment landscape. All right, so check that out. Money Never Sleeps. And then last but not least, group chat. Again, I viewed these guys as mentors. They've helped me a lot through specifically my clothing journey. You might recognize Drama in the middle. This is Rob Dyrdek's cousin. Quite the entrepreneur himself. He has a great podcast called Short Story Long. Not anymore, but that helped me. That specific podcast helped me so much through my early days in my entrepreneurial journey. D and Anand, these guys own the 5-4 group, and they're all three just prominent figures within the LA entrepreneurial landscape. Again, they've helped me so much over the course of my career. I've listened to their podcast for forever. In the past 2 episodes, so the Divided States of America and actually Bye Bye Nicola, I was featured. I got a shout out in both these episodes. One for killing it in the stock market right now, and in this one for living in Hawaii, like, because they covered this article about the top states. So go check them out. Again, their podcast presence is far more prominent and impressive than their YouTube presence, but go show their YouTube some love, guys, if you have the time. And they talk about everything ranging from politics to fashion to apparel to entrepreneurship. So many of the things that I enjoy myself and I like talking about that do wrap into the markets, they talk about. So go check them out, show them some love, tell them you sent me, tell them the Wave Sam sent you. So again, I think we'll call it there, you guys. Again, drop in the comments below where you're from one more time. And I just want to get to know you guys a little more. I know I talk to you guys all the time, especially a lot of you very consistently, but where are you from? Tell me where you're from. Want to know how much of the globe we're starting to take over, okay? Where we're making waves. All right, so we'll call it there, you guys. As always, take action, make waves. Peace.